You're listening to Workforce Innovation News, powered by LWIA 23. Get ready to hear about all things workforce development and workforce innovation. And now, on to the episode.
Hello, and welcome to WIN, Workforce Innovation News. I am Jamie Korda-Hajawi, the director for LWIA 23. And I sound a little raspy today because I am getting over a cold and into something else maybe. I just do weird things, and that's how it goes sometimes. But I am joined today with the lovely Bonnie Moore from the Center for Business and Industry at Lakeland College. Thank you for joining me today, Bonnie.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, and it sounds like you're having about the same kind of day I am.
Yep, seems to be about par for the course.
So this will be a this episode is going to stand out because we're going to sound just a little bit different, but that's going to be fun. All right. Well, this month, September, is Workforce Development Month. Yay! And in honor of Workforce Development Month, I wanted to do a little mini series focusing on workforce partners in our area. So that is one reason why I invited you. To kind of kick it off, I just want to remind our listeners what workforce development is. And I came across this really awesome definition of workforce development that not only does it sound really good and academic and much better than I could ever just come up on my own, but it's very eloquent in the way that it hits some really important points. So I want to go over that real quick. So workforce development is the coordination of public and private sector policies and programs that provide individuals with the opportunity for a sustainable livelihood and helps organizations achieve exemplary goals consistent with societal context. And the thing that I like so much about that definition is that it really hits home on three components of workforce development: the individual, organizational, and societal. So we're looking at an individual focused model that really centers on training and education. And I think that's important because that's where CBI at Lakeland College comes in. But then we also look at the organizational perspective, and that's providing skills training that's key to staying competitive in a global industry. And again, I think you hit that really hard in CBI as well. And then workforce development also has the goal from the societal perspective that the future economic development is necessary for stability and growth. So I really think CBI touches all three of those components really well. And I want you to elaborate a bit. So to start off, just kind of reintroduce yourself, a little bit of your background, and what the Center for Business and Industry is at Lakeland College.
Sure. So as you said earlier, my name is Bonnie Moore. I'm the director to the Center for Business and Industry at Lakeland College. I have been in my role here just over 7 years, seen a lot of changes in the workforce development realm, especially over the past 3 years or so, as we've had some shifts in our country and in our workforce, especially with the pandemic. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole very far. Prior to my work here at Lakeland College, I held management positions in education, manufacturing, and healthcare. So I have a wide variety of experience here at the college. And our role here with the Center for Business and Industry is really to work with organizations versus the traditional college student, although we've kind of branched into that world these days as well. But we work with organizations to help them upskill individuals inside of their organizations so that they're able to meet their strategic plans moving forward. We do that through customized training programs, through consulting work, and then also through registered apprenticeships.
Awesome. So you said a magic word, apprenticeships. That it's been definitely a hot topic lately. Not only in our realm here at workforce development at Lakeland College, but I think on a national level, apprenticeships really are seeing a resurgence in popularity, and it's not a passing fad either. I think it's been recognized or re-recognized of how important apprenticeships are in workforce development and education. What's going on in your world as it pertains to apprenticeships?
Sure. So I oversee the registered apprentices and the apprenticeship agreements that we have here at the college. So we've really seen a lot of growth in apprenticeships over the last couple of years. I was given the task of apprenticeships in summer of 2020, and they've really just taken off since then. It's been very interesting to watch the progression. Before, in July of 2020, it wasn't really something that we talked about very often here at the college or in the industry realm of things. And as time has grown over the past couple of years, it's really exploded. And instead of seeing apprenticeships only in those traditional blue collar type careers, we're starting to see them move over towards more of the professional side of things as well, but allowing people to be able to work and learn, to continue to gain a skill set while they have to work a full-time job has really changed the game for employers. And when we look at really what those employees are looking for, I recently attended an Illinois Manufacturing Association meeting where there was a presentation from Manpower about what employees want. And that big thought of flexibility and being able to work from home is actually untrue. The number one thing that employees want is an opportunity to move forward and a path to move forward in their career. And apprenticeships fill that gap completely.
Very true. A lot of what we're hearing is just really investing and believing in the employee as a person and not just as a number. And I do think apprenticeships is a great segue into that. The employers are giving them that flexibility and time to be able to pursue development so that they can move forward. So apprenticeships, there's so many reasons why they are wonderful and how they benefit so many players in the game, not just employees and not just employers, but and then even the training providers as well. So it's really exciting to hear you say that. But also thinking of, I know, taking this on during the pandemic, and yes, that's a rabbit hole that we could go into for it more than a mini series of podcast episodes for sure. But it's really important that colleges and training providers are dynamic and that they're able to shift with the workforce. And I know we recently saw a very major shift, but even before that, can you talk to how dynamic the local workforce really is with their needs?
Yeah, I think some of the needs, obviously, they're not only being influenced by what we're seeing coming out of a global pandemic, but also what we're seeing with technology and the quick advances that we see in really every sector of the workforce. So there's that additional challenge, which will also put strains on community colleges and training providers to try to be able to stay on top of the technology needs, in addition to what the employer's needs are. We've had to do a lot of work on our end, which has been great work, to be honest with you, being able to be more flexible with the schedules that we offer here at the college, being quick in developing our curriculum that we have here. And thankfully at Lakeland, we've got a very dynamic board of trustees and administration here who are forward thinking towards what our strategy looks like moving forward, so that we're better able to support those students who would be in a traditional role coming out of high school, as well as a student who may already be working, as well as a student who maybe is just like, you know what, I learned I really don't want to do the job that I've been doing for 20 years. So how do I make that work for my future? And being able to fill that need and being a part of the planning processes that move into that has been amazing. One of the greatest areas that we've seen growth here at Lakeland has been in the automotive tech program. If I can just take a second and talk about what we've done with that. And the idea was really that we would move auto tech auto technicians into a registered apprenticeship style program starting in the fall of 2023. Interestingly enough, we met with employers this past March and laid out what we were looking at. And our enrollment has gone from 5 to 8 students to in the 20s in just a semester. So in an area that maybe we thought wasn't necessarily having a lot of need, we've been proven wrong just simply by getting out and talking with our employers and reworking the way that a program goes. So it's been great to see that partnership between industry, students, high school, and junior colleges to move those types of programs forward. As we continue to see this need for skilled work continue to grow, whether we look at it from the population decline or whether we look at an aging workforce, all of the factors that are going into feeding this ongoing issue that we have, having a skilled workforce, all of those partners coming to the table are absolutely crucial to being able to move these programs forward.
You bring up such a good point. I'm glad you talked about the automotive, the experience you guys went through in getting industry on board. I think everyone is open to partnerships. We are trying to cross boundary lines and involve education, K through 12, industry. But it's not always, I feel like, priority necessarily. We get kind of into our silos, we get comfortable doing things here with our team, and it takes a little extra effort to branch out and to make that network stronger. But when we do it, we see how valuable it is. That workforce is not just some people in a building that has workforce across the top of it. Workforce is those industry partners. It is those employees. It's those students. It's those K through 12 students. It's their parents. It's their guardians. Everyone really has a stake in workforce. And it's so exciting to see that come to fruition and everyone kind of like, oh yeah, and look at it, how exciting it is when we get together and we do really cool things. But it really resonates with me. Nate Carlson, our apprenticeship navigator, he's going through talent pipeline management training right now. And it's really this idea of how do we cultivate a talent pool right here in our own area and create that pipeline where we're not losing people to go to metropolitan areas, or we're not producing people who don't have the skills for what is needed here. And what you are talking about just really shows that we do need to be more intentional about it, because when we are, really cool things happen. So
you never know where that next best idea is going to come from. And I think that everybody has value and brings their valuable experience to the table. Being able to work with Nate, even in the apprenticeship world, has been outstanding for me. And I've learned a lot from him, even though technically he wouldn't have the career experience that I have. He's brought some amazing things to the table. But when we start leaving people out of the conversation, whether that would be a high school student who's going to be entering college, I mean, we want college to be attractive to these students, right? But the workforce also needs them, also needs to be attractive to those students. So how can we meld together and make that happen for them? In addition to that whole other group of people that we're talking about. But the whole idea behind it is you really don't know where the next best idea is coming from. And if you're writing people off of the slate before they even get to the table, you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That's what gets me so excited to see that you get it and that you're out there and you're talking about all of the wonderful things that we're doing, and we really need to focus on and build up those relationships. So from your perspective, what you talk about auto being a really good example of us coming together and being successful from that partnership. What is the next opportunity? What are you aiming for next, I should say?
I really don't know that I have an aim insofar as trying to grow a particular program necessarily. It's really in just getting the word out so that people can understand what opportunities are available to them. We like to joke around that you guys are the best kept secret at Lakeland College. But I would like to just tell you that I feel like we have some competition there, because we do some really amazing things here at CBI, whether that be through our manufacturing skills lab, which is right behind me, or our CDL program, but just simply laying out what opportunities are available for businesses and business partners here at the college, I think is more crucial than trying to concentrate on growing a program or two. I can tell you that we have seen immense growth in industrial maintenance technicians and those positions, whether those apprenticeships are run through my group here at the Center for Business and Industry or through the technology department, who's been absolutely amazing to work with. We're also starting to see a lot of growth in careers in agriculture and registered apprenticeships, as well as seeing a lot of marriage between the technology. So, but we're starting to see those same skill sets being applied in a different industry in a way that they never had been before. In addition, we're starting to see a lot of front-loaded training programs like CDL. So those students would come to us for their training to earn their commercial driver's license. And then they would go into a registered apprenticeship with on-the-job components, sort of a finishing school, if you will, that will meet what that employer's guidelines are. And we're seeing that across local trucking companies and over the road. So there's a lot to keep up with just in our department and working together with other departments across campus. But it's really interesting to start to bring all of those partners together. And then when we start talking about programs like what we're seeing at LIFT, which is the Leaders Innovating for Tomorrow at Mattoon High School, as well as what we'll be seeing from the Effingham Regional Career Academy in the next couple of years. And I think the opportunities are really endless to what we're going to be able to grow. We'll be able to have skilled workers much sooner than what we would have before.
Oh, definitely. I feel like we're poised. It's just like this really great point of all kinds of things are about to start happening for us. I think we're poised at this really great point where a whole bunch of really exciting things are going to start happening for us in the workforce for sure. So I heard you talk about CDL. I heard you talk about industrial maintenance. I heard you talk about agriculture. And you're right. I do think we're the best kept secret, but you guys are a very close second, because even working in the same building as Center for Business and Industry, there's still a lot going on that I don't always know or understand is probably more accurate, because I'm sure you tell me things and they don't click. So what else do you guys have going on right now or on the horizon that you want to share with the listeners to either get them to participate in or get their hamster wheels a rolling and have them reach out to you with additional opportunities?
I'm actually going to go a little different direction
Okay.
here outside of registered apprenticeships or degree or certificate programs, and talk a little bit about what we do on the leadership realm. So one of the flagship programs that we've had here at the Center for Business and Industry has been our leadership series that we offer on site, either at employers for customized training, or we offer a quote unquote stock style program that we have here at the college. In the past, it's traditionally been a once a month class for 4 hours that runs for 10 months. We've really revamped what that program looks like. It's now 8 classes. We're going to be starting a new series here soon. We're hoping to start in January, and it will run either bi-weekly or every 3rd week. Still for 4 hours. But what we're seeing is, in addition to having this skilled workforce gap, we also have a pretty large gap of people who possess and demonstrate quality leadership skills. And no matter what organization or what industry you work in, you have to have leaders, right? I mean, a lot of times we'll see business partners who will promote technical leaders, people who are great at the technical side of things, but don't necessarily possess that skill set to be able to lead others, to be able to manage conflict, to be able to manage change, to be able to be visionaries. And so what we've done is taken that program and worked with our instructor to rewrite it and offer it in a way that is going to be faster and more applicable for the students who attend. Additionally, it melds together different industries. So unless you're holding a class on site at your location, chances are you might have 10 people from other industries who are in the same boat as you. And maybe you're a new leader, maybe you're somebody that's a bit more seasoned per se, but you're all in the same boat. And we're finding out whether you're in banking or healthcare or manufacturing or sales, you have the same pain points that you would have in any other industry. And just being able to share those experiences and those best practices with one another have created some really great relationships in our leadership series. So that's something I would definitely like to highlight. It's something that's a great program. I actually took it when I worked somewhere else prior to coming to Lakeland. We offered it for our production supervisors at a previous manufacturer. And it was the greatest leadership program I had ever been a part of. And it's been really fun to work with our instructor and move it forward so that it stays relevant for the future.
Very cool. That is exciting. I didn't realize that you guys did that like as a group with cross industries attending.
Apparently Siri heard me talking and thought
didn't even hear Siri. You're all right.
Oh, she made me jump. Sorry about that.
Okay.
But yeah, we do offer it on site for employers if they've got 8 or more people that they'd like to put in. It's usually more cost effective for us to have it on site at the employer location, but we also offer it open enrollment here on campus, which is really nice because that gives those smaller businesses that have 1 or 2 people an opportunity to enroll a few people at a time, and be able to get those people skilled up and moving into those leadership roles sooner.
Yeah, and it's super valuable to have that time to be able to talk to people in different industries, because how many times have I been in this as my time as Perkins in education and academia, and I used so much of my sales skills in what I was doing. And then now we're looking at workforce development, and there's a lot from industrial, from manufacturing, that's the word I'm looking for. A lot of concepts from manufacturing that you can apply to the local workforce. That's the whole premise of talent pipeline management, is taking that operations management, supply chain management, and applying it to the workforce, to the people. So
I mean, think about how much we're even seeing that right now in the education realm. You know, when I came to Lakeland 7 years ago, KPIs were not something that we really talked about. Now we're really looking at strategic planning and cycles and champions and KPIs and how do we move from one strategic planning cycle to the next. And in order to remain relevant as a college, we have to make those moves. It's interesting that you say that, because one of the biggest skills that I'm finding that I have to use more now than I've used in a really long time have been listening and negotiation. I negotiate, I feel like 40 plus hours a week. Then I get to go home and negotiate with a tween. So you get that too. But
get it. Yeah.
You know, it's really neat to see how different skill sets will come through and show their face, you know, negotiating internally and externally. And it's not just sales anymore. You know, we're really trying to develop one-on-one relationships with every partner that we have here, whether we're internal here at the college or external with our customer base, or we're working one-on-one with those apprentices. So it's great to see those relationships develop in places that they probably never would have before.
Again, we're right back to the partnerships are everything. They are paramount. They're so important. And it's wonderful to see that so many of them are being built and strengthened as well. So exciting stuff. All right. This is the last of our September Workforce Development Month mini-series. So I thought I would do something fun to celebrate the end. So I'm going to ask you a couple real quick rapid fire questions. Answer as fast as you can. You're not allowed to think, like maybe think a little bit, but not a whole lot. All right.
You know better than to tell me.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I know, Bonnie. All right. So summer or winter?
Summer.
What scares you?
Nothing.
All right. What's your favorite cake flavor?
Vanilla.
How do you start your day?
Do you really want to know?
I know one. Yeah, I know one of the answers.
I work out every
Yeah.
single day.
Way too
4:30
early
a.m.
too. Way too early. What's something you don't like?
Mean people.
When are you the happiest?
When I'm helping someone.
Huh. Have you ever stolen anything?
Just a few hearts.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Bonnie. This has been great. Just to parting words, you want to give contact information or anything to our listeners today?
Sure, absolutely. If you would like to reach out to me, you can give me a call at 217-238-8260, or you can email me at the world's longest email address, which is bmoore, MOORE, 71258 at lakelandcollege.edu.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bonnie. It has been wonderful, and I will see you soon.
Thanks for having me, Jamie.
Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Workforce Innovation News powered by LWIA 23. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To learn more about LWIA 23, visit lwa23.net.